Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone, passion for excellence.
Here are today's top headlines. GM unveils a small electric commuter scooter. VW rises to number 2 in the world. And an up-close look at the new Toyota Prius. Up next, we'll be back with the news behind the headlines. This is Autoline Daily for Tuesday, April 7th, 2009, and now the news. Segway, that company that makes those two-wheeled electric scooters, has teamed up with GM to develop a compact battery-powered vehicle called Personal Urban Mobility and Accessibility, or P.U.M.A for short. It's designed to help city dwellers get around. It also aims to reduce pollution and congestion in crowded areas. The funky-looking two-wheeler is powered by a lithium-ion battery pack and can hit a top speed of 35 miles an hour, or about 56 kilometers an hour, and a 35-mile range between charges. Compared to a car, GM says it costs as little as 1/4 as much to own and operate. I'm guessing that means about $6,000. Speaking of GM, it used to be the world's biggest automaker, but now it will not even be number 2. Reuters reports that GM sales will fall below VW's this year, making the German automaker second only to Toyota. It quotes R.L. Polk, Germany, as forecasting global sales will reach only about 53 million vehicles this year. But it also forecasts strong double-digit growth in 2011 and 2012, and that global production will set a record of more than 70 million vehicles thanks to pent-up demand. And speaking of electric vehicles, Chrysler announced that A123 Systems will supply lithium-ion batteries for the company's first generation of NV range extended vehicles and its battery-only powered vehicles. A123 is currently planning a site in Michigan to build the batteries, and Chrysler plans to bring its first electric vehicle to market next year. Next year? If the plant to build the batteries isn't built, they are not going to be building in volume production next year. And speaking of getting money to build plants, U.S. automakers and suppliers have applied for $44.6 billion in government money to retool their factories to make fuel-efficient cars, reports the Detroit Free Press. But they can't get any of the money, not just yet. GM has put in for $10 billion, Chrysler's put in for $4 billion. But to get that money, any company has to prove it's financially viable, and GM and Chrysler can't do that right now. But there's a problem here as I see it. There's only $25 billion set aside to retool plants, but the industry has put in requests for over $44 billion. You know, when the government starts handing out money, everyone has their hand out. And speaking of fuel-efficient vehicles, European commercial vehicle company Iveco gave delivery company FedEx 10 diesel hybrid vehicles to test in its fleet. Over the first 6 months, the fleet of Iveco dailies traveled an average of 7,900 kilometers, nearly 5,000 miles. The diesel hybrids reduced fuel consumption by over 1/4, and CO2 emissions dropped 7.5 tons. And speaking even more about fuel-efficient cars, coming up next, our driving impressions of the new Toyota Prius.
Changing tires out here could be dangerous, but with these tires, I don't need to worry.
Bridgestone.
On an earlier episode of Autoline Daily, we gave you an overview of the new 2010 Toyota Prius after its debut at the Detroit Auto Show. We finally got a chance to get behind the wheel of one to see what it can do. Even though it's been redesigned, the vehicle still maintains that distinct Prius look. Under the hood is a 1.8-liter four-cylinder engine, and 90% of the hybrid system is newly developed. The 2010 Prius gets an EPA estimated 50 miles per gallon, or 4.7 liters per 100 kilometers. And it's a figure just about anyone should reach or break with minimal effort. It should be noted that we only drove the vehicle for half a day and drove it in ideal conditions, but achieving over 50 mpgs was no problem in our time with the vehicle. One of the more unique features with the new Prius are the 3 driving modes. An EV mode allows the driver to run the vehicle on electric power up to 25 miles an hour for 1 mile. The Eco mode helps the driver achieve the best fuel economy by smoothing out the throttle, and the Power mode boosts performance. The EV mode is a neat feature, but obviously can't be used most of the time. The Eco mode makes the car a bit sluggish, especially starting from a stop position, and will probably only interest those who are looking to eke out every last ounce of gas out of their Prius. And the Power mode was helpful when you needed that extra boost, like while on a freeway. The nice thing about these modes is that they can be switched on or off at any time while driving. It was fun to play around with these features for a day, but will owners put these driving modes to use every day? I'm not so sure. Seems like it could be the Prius's version of paddle shifters. We'll have more about some of the other new features in the 2010 Prius in an upcoming Autoline Daily. Hey, don't forget, this Thursday on Autoline After Hours, renowned Wall Street analyst Marianne Keller will be joining me, along with Mr. Auto Extremist Peter DeLorenzo and PR veteran Jason Vines. That's live this Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time for a great discussion of what's ailing the auto industry. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.
Visit our website for even more great content all week long. Autoline Extra, Dawn's Journal, podcasts, and even more. So click over and get the inside view at AutolineDetroit.tv.